nowhere near that lump that they gave me last time. I get the feeling they've gone. What I would do, as the chap comes towards me, if I could get under the stick, I would feel it pushing around the back. And what that point would do with physio in the back of his leg, hopefully take a tendon out, then turn it round, bludgeoning because he's not worthy anymore, is he? So you can see how things have developed over the years. So this is purely and simply a killing tool. But then you actually read accounts, and what they were throwing tools of their day. They were a throwing axe. And when you think about that shape, as that starts rotating and picking up momentum, and apparently they were feared throughout Europe for this technique, where the front line would charge down at the enemy, and then upon order would all launch these Francescas at one point. And you imagine 1,000 of those coming at you. It's going to, kind of undermine the front ranks a little bit. Competition where you have big circular wooden targets, and you hold this just behind the head and you launch it, and it end over ends and buries itself hopefully in the target. But the big users of a double beveled axe like this, or a double faced axe, was actually Americans. And when they deforested the west coast of North America, they did a lot of it with this type of tool. You would have a very finely honed, high quality edge on one side, and you'd have a much poorer quality edge that you wouldn't spend as much time with on this side. So if you had a clean piece of timber that you were working, you would use your good face, and if you had a really poor one or really knotty one, you would flip it round. The problem is you had to be a real professional to use one of these, because it has a major drawback in its design, and that is, this is like the tail of an aeroplane. So as you swing it on a windy day, you can see what happens, and instead of it going there, it tends to go over there. So they weren't really for the apprentice to use these.
It's like nice to scar my finger, but I don't know any builder.
Ah, yes.
Tree root flaps.
Yes.
I felt very faint with that.
That's all axe fronts there. And if I put that framing square on, hand-hewn sleepers in. And then with the onset of the steam engine and everything else, they managed to mechanise saws to the point that it was far cheaper to produce sawn sleepers. Within 2 decades, they've returned to hand-hewn sleepers, because the sawn edge of the sleepers, you know how you get on a sawn edge, you get that fluffiness? Well, that fluffiness attracts moisture, and they were rotting disproportionately quickly.